And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. I also do the Inside Sports Fantasy Football, which is coming up around the corner. I'm hopefully getting Sean in on the action. Joe Soro, who will not be here tonight, hopefully will also stop by with some fantasy football thoughts in the near future on an ISFF, and of course my long-time teammate on the offensive line, Chris Sardieri. So hopefully we can get that back going sooner rather than later, because it's getting around that time for NFL season to begin. Absolutely, indeed. Thoughts on Cody Rhodes, Gerald? It's Cody Rhodes suggests a possibility of trilogy match with Roman Reigns. I know he's discussed that. It's Cody Rhodes. I don't know what you want me to say about Cody Rhodes. He's Cody Rhodes.
What do you make of the What do you make of that concept, though, Gerald?
As far as what?
Mass audience is concerned.
But him connecting with a mass audience, or he might turn heel at some point in time? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, he said that a while back. He said, even if he does turn heel, the thing is, it's got to be booked properly. If it's not booked properly, it's all based on booking. You could turn heel, you could turn face, you could do anything you want in the world of professional wrestling, but 10 minutes later, if it's not booked properly, it doesn't matter.
Do you have confidence in the writers?
No, I don't.
Okay, fair enough.
The Cena heel turn, I think, definitely shows you that, because that had momentum. That was one of the most things that was talked about in recent years in this century. And they managed to go ahead and not book it well enough. And after WrestleMania, kind of died a little. It's like almost like a balloon losing air.
Yeah, just lifts out. You're right.
Yeah. So by the time of the last pay-per-view, or PLE as they call it now, he had to go on SmackDown just before and say, "Oh, I'm a good guy again. Everything's great. You can't see me. Blah 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 blah." Great, fine. And then Cody Rhodes, again, whether you want to make him a heel or not, it's just subtle variations of him. There's no real discernation about as far as whether or not who he is. His promos are almost the same thing. The way his heel style that he was before, if you remember early in his career when he and Ted DiBiase Jr. were a tag team together, even as Stardust, it's just variations of the same thing with him. He doesn't really deviate. So it'll be a slightly more sinister Cody Rhodes, but Cody Rhodes is just someone who, with his sheer charisma, I understand is a crowd pleaser for now, but as the audience gets tired of you, then they start asking for heel turns. But the problem is, sometimes when you ask for heel turns, you don't always get what you want. So yeah, absolutely. What's up, Travon? How you doing, my friend? Mix, what's going on? Vandal working on his mid game. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, mid-range game. Yeah, absolutely. Just
can he finish at the rim first?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Finish at the rim. Catch the ball. Work on catching the ball first.
Like right here. Like in this general area, Gerald. Right here is where he can catch it and just slam it. But he doesn't do it.
Yes, he doesn't do it at all. And JSJ, again, yeah, he said he's turning heel, or he said he's thought about turning heel in recent interviews about a month ago and whatnot. Again, oh boy, can't wait. It's just going to be another side of Cody Rhodes. It's not going to deviate too much from what we see already. And I'm happy for his success. He was the face of WWE after what happened to him at AEW, how that was orchestrated, and AEW lost someone that could have helped them through an entire generation of wrestling, and they blew it. They also had CM Punk, and they blew it. And if they want to know why 10 years down the line, they're still going to be far behind the number one wrestling company in the entire planet, they only have to look at themselves and the fact that they let Cody Rhodes and CM Punk leave and made it intolerable for them to stay. And that's all I'll say about that. Just absolutely.
Okay, so before we veer off this topic, I have to ask Joe Glassford one question about this whole scenario.
Mm-hmm.
So, Gerald, outside of Marlena, who do you think's had a weirder like time shift in this wrestling entertainment business, Goldust or his brother Cody?
That's a good. I would probably say Cody, because remember Cody after the Stardust tournament, he was like go by WWE, was a persona non grata. He helped his work on the indie scene, his work with the NWA, his work in Japan, his work in starting and helping rise the Bullet Club in Japan to where every hot topic in America here was where it was selling Bullet Club T-shirts. His status as reforming himself before even AEW is to his credit. Dustin Rhodes has always been, a well-liked individual, hard worker. I wish the best for him because he's having double knee replacement here in a couple weeks. His knees, as he said, after a recent match, are shot. So I'm wishing him all the best. But yeah, I would probably say Cody Rhodes is the one who transformed himself from basically a mid-carder into a superstar. And he did that not using the AEW or WWE platform. He did that in Japan and on the independents before AEW even existed. And to him, he deserves all the credit in the world for doing that. Yes, it is, of course, the Lakers fast break. Wanted to go ahead and bring that in there. But don't get me started on Marlena, because that I think was somebody they should have leaned more into in the days of the great 1995 to 2000 period, as far as that period of wrestling, and they didn't take advantage of it. But that's okay. Yes, JSJ said Cena's heels turn was so bad. It was great for a second there. Should have never had Travis Scott in there, and that's all I'll say about that. Henry, big shout out to you, my friend. I won't say why, but from Magic Man, Sean Grice, myself, and the Lakers community, we want to just say congratulations and thank you again for being a part of what you're doing here. But we wish you tremendous blessings from all of us right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Even though I won't say why, we just want to say congratulations once again. But it is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. I did do the latest Pop Culture Cosmos, which talks about weapons, the demon stuff that's going on, including K-pop Demon Hunters and also as well Demon Slayer, which are both booming up the charts in Japan and also Netflix, and also as well Wednesday season 2 is out and available. We talk about that on the show as well on Pop Culture Cosmos. So go ahead and check it out. But please like and subscribe to all the stuff I do in order to go ahead and help us out right here at the Lakers Fast Break. So we just thought we'd pop on, and I asked Magic Man, I just got home, and that's asked Magic Man, can we go on the air? Because something's been at me all day, gnawing at me, biting at me. And yes, there's just want to make sure, because you guys are going to ask 15 times, no Joe tonight. He said he is unavailable, was his keyword. So just want to make sure that is relayed to you. Unavailable is Joe Sorrell, but we're here for you. So don't turn off the channel. We're just as entertaining as far as it's concerned. But I did want to tell everybody, as far as something very interesting came up earlier today, and that was the fact that Charania reported that the change in governorship, because the past owners did sell the Boston Celtics to another owner, and there was going to be one of the terms of this deal was that they were going to keep the governorship for a long time to come. That was going to be done until 2028. But actually, unfortunately, Wyke Grousbeck is no longer going to stay on as governor as part of the Boston Celtics $6.1 billion sale to Bill Chisholm. Sources tell Ramona Shelburne and Sham Charania. The plan for Grousbeck was to remain as governor through 2028, Chisholm assumes Governor Tyler and the transfer will be finalized soon. So that got me thinking, where do I know a pending sale of a team where the existing owner is going to stay on as governor for what was reported by Ramona Shelburne of ESPN for 5 years? Where do I know this from? Oh, yeah, the Lakers. That's right. Yes, the Lakers. Once Mark Walters takes over, Mark Walter, he is going to be the head guy as far as the owner, but not the governor. Or will he? So that's my question to you today. After seeing what I saw as far as the new change in governorship happening on a 2.5-year period ahead of what was planned on the changeover, I ask you, could the same thing happen here in LA? I know it's something that Joe has speculated a lot of. I know it's something a lot of you have speculated a lot of. Know a lot of it's about something a lot of you have hoped for, but is it going to be a reality? That I'm going to discuss today with my good friend, because it is the madman from Toronto. He did get out of Toronto traffic to stop on by to go ahead and share his thoughts on this very interesting little tidbit in a sea of nothingness when it comes to NBA news. It is, of course, the Magic Man, Sean Grice. And Sean, great to have you here. Trevon, yeah, I know. If I'm spending $10 to $12 million a team, I'd want to come in as the commander-in-chief day one. You'd think that's right, Magic Man? But that wasn't the case from what we learned. But after initial reports said that she would be governor for up to 5 years, and Joe says, oh, well, she won't mean anything. Well, again, she'll be governor, but for how much longer? Could that change? Could that change indeed?
Yes. Thank you, Gerald. I was going to ask you, what were Joe's thoughts on that? Because when Joe talks, I kind of fade in and out, Gerald. I know you have to pay attention. You're forced to pay attention to what he has to say because we're on a podcast. But I fade in and out, really, because he rambles on. He goes on and on like an Allman Brothers song, like the same riff for about 12 minutes, or the same Brian Eno song over and over again. That being said, I actually think that this portends to perhaps Jeanie stepping away from that role, Gerald, because to put it bluntly, I mean, despite the title, I don't think the new ownership group wants the old ownership group sniffing around what they plan on doing. I wouldn't personally like that, Gerald. I mean, if I moved into a new house and I bought it from from the previous owner, and the owner kept driving their car like once a week, stopping and wondering, asking you what you're doing. I mean, you eventually, Gerald, you would tell them, get the hell away from here. You sold me the house. It's not your house. It's my house. I'm going to do what I want with it. And I just think that that situation unfolded in Boston with their ownership transition. And I think the same thing will happen here. I think, I'm always a big proponent of Gerald, loose lips sink ships. And I wouldn't want Jeanie Buss going to NBA meetings and possibly letting slip what we're planning on doing, even if it's just in kind of a casual sort of way. But also, Gerald, can we tackle the questionable sourcing on this story as well from one Ramona Shelburne? I mean, Ramona, you got kicked out of Paradise for going against the code, and your reporting has been questionable ever since you've come back. You and Windhorst have made questionable reporting on a dinner with Luka Doncic and the new Lakers ownership, Gerald. She's had to retract a paragraph that she wrote where the Lakers did not inform LeBron James of the new ownership sale. There is questionable sourcing from Ramona Shelburne at this point, Gerald, because I think the only source Ramona Shelburne has is Jeanie Buss herself.
And that's why she probably relayed to her, probably speculating here, that she told her that she was going to stay as governor for 5 years. Now, Joe and I have had a difference on what that would mean once the $10 to $12 million valuation of the team is finalized and gets ratified by the owners. I believe the meeting is of the owners to do this is going to be in October, if I'm not mistaken. But Jeanie was going to be in place as governor, and Joe was sort of paraphrasing what Joe was saying. Joe was always describing as, well, Mark Walter actually is going to run the team, but Jeanie's going to be on as governor. It won't mean much. It won't mean anything. He was discarding it. But if you're in place as governor, that is, to me, signals that you're running the day-to-day operations. To me, that's what signals. Doesn't matter who owns the team. Stockholders own a lot of companies, yet they don't run the team on a day-to-day basis. It's the actual CEO that does it. So I'm assuming the governor is a CEO title, if I'm not mistaken.
Gerald, and by the way, despite what is reported, you're correct. You're correct, because for years and years, Gerald, when the Raiders were not represented at the board of governors because Al Davis wouldn't attend and he wouldn't have any of his employees attend. So that seat can remain actually vacant for the Lakers until the new ownership group decides on who's going to sit there. So it's almost you're right, Joe. It's almost as if it seemed like it was a placeholder for her. Like, I remember you saying it sort of felt like the Shelley Sterling vibe from the Clippers. Like, yeah, okay, you're going to be the cheerleader. But like you said, Joe, if you're in that seat, it has the appearance that you're operating the day-to-day business. And if you do not own the team, I would be very, very skeptical and very, very weary of having somebody in that spot who's no longer in the seat of ownership.
I'll just say this, Magic, and it all started with Mark Cuban when he sold the Mavericks, but he wanted his cake and eat it too deal as far as control, and he had it up to a point until the Fertittas took over. And then, obviously, the famous, like 805 said in the chat, big shout out to 805. And what's up, Johnny, as well, that, hey, I didn't know what was going on with the Luka trade. Well, again, it can't be two different things. The governor or the day-to-day operations has to be in on virtually everything, whether it's a player or not player personnel type issue, whether it's an issue with the team, whether it's an issue with personnel, et cetera, players, what doesn't matter. The governor is supposed to oversee and help be in control of all that. And to be there in name only makes little sense to me. As far as, like, even if you bought the company from me for $12 million, if you still want me as governor, I'm going to continue on as if I'm still the individual in charge, no matter who owns it ahead of me. So that's why I think what will take place, Magic Man, is yes, the valuation will end and Mark Walter will become the owner. If Jeanie stays on as governor, she will be the day-to-day operations individual. But if that's the case, this could speed up the timeline. Seeing how, or whatever agreement was made in Boston that allowed the new ownership to fully take over 2.5 years earlier than expected, I also expect that timeline to now speed up and Jeanie to be out sooner rather than later. Trip Show says the Ned Coletti treatment. There you go.
Who's Ned Coletti? I need a reference.
Dodgers GM that was out, and they was a good GM, but they got a better GM in place. So that'd be the thing. But that's what we'll discuss with Rob here in a little bit. But I'm just saying that I think it's an uncomfortable situation once that takeover happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it would be a little bit messy if you continue with Jeanie Buss in that governorship plan for very long. I think at some point, Mark Walter or someone he designates has to take over the day-to-day operations of the team that's fully committed to seeing through Mark's vision, because I don't think Jeanie Buss sees the things exactly the same way as Mark Walter does. And in doing so, you want your own people in there. Now, in the case of Boston, it would probably behoove them to get rid of Brad Stevens, because Brad Stevens, to me and to many people, I think you are like, he's probably considered a top 5 GM in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
So it probably behooves them to go ahead and make drastic changes there, even when the governorship finally changes over here in just a short bit for them. I'm still thinking, though, we don't have that situation here. We don't have a top GM in the league in Rob Pelinka, in our opinion. He's had some hits. He's had some misses. And in doing that, the future is supposed to be now. Now, he has set up for the future. I will give him credit for that as far as for the future. But for this season, it does not look like he's built a championship team. And in doing so, I don't know if if you buy a team for $10 to $12 billion, Magic Man, how soon do you want a big return on that investment?
Yes.
What's up, Sherrick?
It's a great question, Gerald. I'm Gerald. He's a billionaire, and obviously he can read a room. He can read a room. Despite what people talk about billionaires, they can read rooms. They've been doing business deals for eons. So I would say they see the same thing we see, Gerald. And long term, I don't expect Pelinka to be here. I hope beyond this season, because I thought this summer, if there was an audition for the new ownership, it would be, you're trying to wheel and deal and put the Lakers in position to win. Nope. So for whatever reason, either the brakes were put on Pelinka, or Pelinka just decided to put himself in that bubble smart car, Gerald, and not make any hasty moves that might peeve his old ownership group and displease his new ownership group. Gerald, despite what Joe and Empire Jeff have said about Rob Pelinka, I've always thought of Rob Pelinka as a political animal more than a basketball animal, Gerald. I think I think he's more about covering his own ass and smooching the right people and making sure his nose is up the right butts of people in charge, rather than actually putting his nose to the grindstone, watching film, evaluating talent, making calls. I just think he's a competent butt sniffer, and that's how he's gotten his job.
Again, that could be very well be the case. As said, we go back to the professional wrestling variable. The best or the people with the longest tenures at major corporations inside the world of wrestling are the best at politics, as far as being able to navigate through schmooze when they need to, be forceful when they need to, but be able to always, and I'm sorry to use the pun here for Triple H, play the game as how it's being played. But, that's the same thing with Rob. With the falling out with Magic Johnson, where did it lie? Again, he did help build a 2020 championship team. No one can take that away, and nor am I going to. But since then, it's been an up and down roller coaster, and no one can tell me otherwise. And again, as I said, I use the variable as far as if you're, for instance, college student. I have a college student here at home, and she goes through her career in college. She goes through her schooling in college, and she has 1 A+, outstanding A+. Does that make up for all the, let's say, B's, C's, D's, and in some cases, JHS, F maneuvers that he's made over the years? Does that account for it? Now, every GM makes mistakes. Sam Presti, who we give eternal praise praise on this show for. Osman Dieng, he gave up 3 number 1 draft picks for that guy. And still, the guy picked right after him was the one that actually ended up helping them win the championship. Irony of all ironies. So every GM makes mistakes. But with Rob, it's been up and down, up and down. And I cannot tell you with any deference that or just looking at it objectively, can you consider Rob Pelinka top GM in the NBA? And I can't. I just can't. There's just not enough there for me to say it's hard. Not enough success stories, not enough good things that he's done, not enough smart moves that he's made. That
Brad Steve, yes, excellent work there, and I agree, Podfather, because it seems like GMs, like just an example, Presti, Stevens, they are tankers in the ocean. They go from one point to the other, they drop it off, and they keep going. Most of the time, they're able to deliver the payload, Gerald. Drafts, trades, what have you. Few misses, obviously, but that's with anything. Pelinka is a roller coaster. He's up and down. And while roller coasters have thrills, they could also have spills, Gerald. It's a pretty bad ones, especially if it's not up to code and the 45-year-old dad goes flying 25 feet back towards the cotton candy stand. Pelinka's had more spills than thrills as far as Lakers are concerned, Gerald. Yeah, you drafted THD, but you also gave him $9 million when he didn't.
And you let Caruso walk.
And you let Caruso walk, who's willing to come down a little bit. All he wanted was 7.
And I'll use the Empire Jeff TV vernacular. He was in the room to go. He could have prevented Ivica Zubac from being traded. He could have put so much force into that and really got into that. But no, he stood by and let it happen.
Yeah, Gerald, you're right. He could have said, no, we don't. You don't.
JHS. Let's talk about JHS. Let's talk about the bad draft picks here, Sharon. Let's talk about the bad moves. Let's talk about 2022 offseason when he acquired the 2014 All-Star team. And how, I mean, we talk about the Clippers got to have an ancient team now. The Lakers almost had just as old a team in 2022, and that team went nowhere. So the results are there. It's a series of highs and lows, and no one, Sharon, and anyone out there can tell me he is a top 15 GM in this league. No one. Okay, when you're handed Luka Doncic, as I was, okay, not handed per se, because I will give him credit. When the call made from Nico Harrison to say, I really want to get AD for Luka, and let's build a trade. He did work out the parameters to build that trade. So you give him a credit for that. I have to give him a credit for that. Mm-hmm. But one great move in a sea of poor ones does not a great GM make. It's as simple as that. You cannot excuse everything else. And in doing so, Mark Walter, if he is able, or whoever he assigns as the governor to run the day-to-day operations, comes in. I don't care if he has a 10-year extension, a 15-year extension. Rob Pelinka, his days may be numbered if it means a change in ownership as far as going to facilitate a change in governorship a lot sooner than we think.
100%, Gerald. And I mean, for the record, there are others, but let's go through just the resume at this point. Traded DeAndre Hunter in the AD trade. Traded Isaiah Jackson. Isaiah Jackson, although injured, Jared, quality player. Max Christie traded. Jalen Hood Schifino. Dalton Connect. These are misses. Bad misses. Especially in a timeline now where you have a superstar, a top 3 NBA player, and you've badly whiffed on first-round picks. By the way, you're also in the LeBron James timeline. So, and you're trying to speed up championship aspirations. Pelinka has had more misses than hits, Gerald. A hit is a hit. He hasn't had a hit as far as the draft pick is concerned yet. He hit big on a trade, but there have been more misses than hits.
Johnny, he's saying, okay, what GM nowadays is a better fit for Lakers? Well, again, this is kind of a story that has gone under the radar, but last year it was made clear to the public that Tim Conley out of Minnesota had only 1 year left on his contract. And there has been no announcement with the new ownership that they have that an extension has taken place. And he's still working there. So I don't know if he's working under a handshake agreement or if it's an extension for him. But usually, though, Tim Conley, who's one of the most noted GMs in this league, Johnny, to let you know, his status is unclear to us as far as I know. I've looked it up previously, looked to see if he signed an extension. Nothing as of yet. Although if I was the new ownership there, that's probably going to be a case where they're going to try and find a number to his liking. I'm assuming he will not be available very much longer if he is already signed under a deal. So we will see what happens. But again, that's the first place I would start. I know there's several GMs that we would probably like to see in the place of Rob. And again, Rob's career has some pluses. Now this year, again, if the goal was to go on
to Gerald, if I was a betting man right now, I would say the guy who, if you're looking at Dodgers ownership as a timeline here, and I have, so I've looked at that, Mike Zarin from the Boston Celtics. You're looking at somebody who's focused on analytics. You're looking at somebody who's focused on blending salary cap implications with talent evaluation, adding into the analytics. It would be Mike Zarin from the Boston Celtics. That's who you go after. You give him the Godfather deal, because all of y'all out there want to give Brad Stevens a lot of the credit. Mike Zarin has been there the entire time Brad Stevens has been there, and he's been in the front office longer than Brad Stevens. So Stevens has been leaning on Mike Zarin. Mike Zarin will be the guy you hire.
Okay. You wouldn't go as far as the assistant GM for, let's say, OKC?
Naz Mohammed? I wouldn't go with Naz Mohammed. I would go with Mike Zarin.
Okay.
I think because I think right now Zarin would be a better hire, given the fact that you need to build a team, not penny pinching, but you also need to be creative about how you build out this roster, because you're going to have Gerald, since Luka's extension kicked in, you're going to have roughly around 75 mil now in space around 2027. So you're going to need to build that up intelligently, and also try and fill in around the margins. Zarin's been able to do that with the Boston Celtics. With the trades and the drafts they've made, they have built a quality core around Tatum and Brown. And you'd be asking Zarin to do the same thing here with Luka.
Ruben says, I'll take any GM except Michael Jordan. Agreed. 100% agree. I would take Rob Pelinka above Michael Jordan, and I'll just with that. Who would make a better Lakers GM, Sean, Gerald, or Joe? Absolutely me, and Sean, and then Joe. Joe would get too angry, and he punched his hole through the wall. Magic Man and I try to look through things objectively, and in doing so, we're somewhat less passionate, which means as far as in our decision making, more calculated. Intelligent. Oh, did I say that word? Sorry, Joe.
Yes.
About our decision making,
and
things based off of rage don't always get the job done. So there you go. Absolutely, I'm 24. You have your answer there. What's up, Hernan? Says Bob Myers is the next Jerry West compared to the best GMs in the NBA right now. Well, Bob Myers is still on ESPN. Ask yourself, why is Bob Myers still on ESPN and hasn't gotten a job back in the league? Maybe his choice, maybe not his choice.
Just Gerald, I'll just bring it up here and let people think for themselves. But I mean, yeah, you could go with Bob Myers. But again, for all you out there, if you're thinking analytics, where the Oh, I saved myself that joke. Where do you think Andrew Friedman came from, guys? Do you think he came from Northern California or Texas? The guy came from Podunk, Florida. Podunk, Florida. So let's do some critical thinking here. And I'll just expand it, Gerald. Do you want to read for everybody Mike Zarin's biography, Gerald?
Well, I don't need to know about the Celtics fan stuff like that and season ticket holder yet, because that doesn't do much for you.
Mike is widely recognized as one of the leaders in the field of advanced statistical analysis of basketball players and teams, and is an important part of the team's strategic planning and player personnel evaluation processes. Mike Zarin is also the team's lead salary cap expert and lead in-house counsel for basketball issues, and is responsible for leading the group that develops new technologies for team use. Mike was previously a law clerk on the United States Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit. Mike is a graduate of Harvard Law.
The only thing is,
would somebody object to the Lakers hiring somebody who's got a better law degree than Pelinka does, is also a cap expert, which Pelinka is not, and he's admitted that. And you also have somebody who is a better talent evaluator objectively than one Robert Pelinka.
But there's only one thing there that you missed, Magic Man, at the beginning. Lifelong Celtics fan.
I don't care. Money talks and bullshit walks, Gerald. Bill Sharman coaches Celtics, right?
Yeah, that's true. Good point. You got to, in order to get the best individuals, the most qualified individuals, if you're willing to throw out the cash, and Mark Walter is willing to throw out the cash, throwing out 10 to 12 billion for the Lakers, getting the most qualified individuals to move the team forward is key and essential to doing just that. But again, if Rob Pelinka this season has a team that has the Lakers maybe lined, again, I'm not saying that this team is out of a championship entirely. Things have to go, for me, very right for this team to go in that case. But let's say that does happen, and he is justified with the team that he's made. Now, again, I called them very low risk, very high return, possible high return transactions. I'm not praising them to the hills and the heavens like Laker Tom is at Lakerholics.com. Big shout out to Laker Tom.
By the way, that would be a huge brain trust if you got that. If you got like Zarin or Myers, plus you added to Mission 24, that's a great idea. I would bring Tim Legler into the fold. I really would.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. So if that's the case, again, I really am thinking that there will be, seeing what we're seeing with what happened in Dallas, seeing what we're seeing with what happened in Boston, we will be seeing a changeover probably sooner than the 5 years that was mentioned with what Ramona Shelburne's initial reporting. And if that's the case, I could see a complete changeover taking place in the front office. If that's the case, scouting, as far as maybe even the coaching staff as well. The entire team could be redefined if the Lakers don't have an optimal season this season. And if that's the case, Mark Walter, he'll bring his own people in, and everybody will hopefully be able to get a fresh start under that. But before we continue that, you mentioned something in the WhatsApp chat about a recent Lakers hire, which may have facilitated something that might help the Lakers a long way, and a source of problems for this team. I mean, we talk about this team before in the past when this team has really penny pinched at certain area points. And one of the things that they've done in areas of penny pinching has been in regards to the team's health, as far as their team, the doctors, the people, the therapists, things, everybody that's trying to go ahead and in charge and responsible for getting this team up and ready. The Lakers have been known to be a little bit suspect in that area. In fact, Dorian Finney-Smith, he essentially signed a 2-year deal, the same what the Lakers were offering I know he signed a 4-year deal, but is only guaranteed for 2. And one of the reasons that said, if you listen to the rumors and as far as the possible reasons why he also left, was that he was not a big fan of the Lakers' training and health staff. So in doing so, the Lakers made a change as well. Could this be something, or could this be an individual that could help, I don't know, make this team a little bit better than expected this coming season?
It could be, Gerald. It could be. But I mean, it would have to be collectively, it would have to be an all hands on deck scenario. But I will applaud the team. They hired Jeremy Holsupple, former strength and conditioning coach for the Dallas Mavericks. When Nico Harrison took over, Gerald, Jeremy was one of the first people he fired, as predicted by one Luca and Bob Vulgaris. Jeremy was out on his ass. The Mavs lost the Lakers game. I think he can have tremendous impact on this team, especially this season, Gerald. I mean, certain names hit home with in the know, Gerald. Alex McKitchney, Tim DiFrancesco. I thought when the Lakers let go of your strength and conditioning coaches and your top-notch physio people, I just thought it was a slippery slope for everything else, Gerald. And as we found out, cheaping out with Synergy Sports Technology, cheaping out with international scouting, cheaping out here and there, just penny pinching everywhere was hurting this team tremendously. And a hire like this makes me think that this team is moving in the right direction with a long-term vision.
And let's hope so. Let's hope so. But will it stay with that long-term vision with Jeanie Buss as the governor, and also as well Rob Pelinka?
Yeah, Bug-eyed was funny, jackass. Bug-eyed was funny.
There you go. Absolutely. Joe Soro is in the chat. Mr. Unavailable, as
Mr. Bug-eye. Joe Bug-eye
Soro. Unavailable. There you go.
Joe Bug-eye Soro.
Yes, Joe Bug-eye Soro, indeed. Just, hey, if you want proof of that, just
watch. Nerds he does have bug eyes. Now that's
right there. It's right there below.
He does have bug eyes.
Button. Yes, when you hit the subscribe button, you can see the bug eyes on Joe, or just walk up to him and ask him, when is Nerlens Noel coming to the Lakers? And he'll
ask him to stick out his tongue.
No, I don't think I'll do that. But if you guys want to, go ahead. Yeah, it is Joe. But I will say it is, again, the Lakers Fast Break. It is Magic Man Sean Grice along with Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much again for watching, listening. Truly appreciate it. So it is an interesting situation that Boston is changing this whole parameter, bringing in the new ownership. They're bringing in the new governor in place 2.5 years earlier than expected. I don't know what they didn't elaborate on the why. So with that part of it is very interesting. I mean, their team now is at a point where they're looking 2 years down the road when Tatum finally gets back to good health, supposedly, or for the Celtics fans, hopefully. But why the change now? Why is that there going to be a change in governorship now when it was expected and agreed upon that it would take place in 2028, Magic Man? That's what's made me curious, and that's what's made me speculate even more that Jeannie's term as governor may not be as long as what has been reported.
Yeah, no, Gerald, I think it's short on details here, because still don't know the parameters of the agreed to sale. That being said, I agree with you. I think it's not for long that she's governor. I think maybe, like Joe, maybe she gets 2 years out of this. Maybe there's enough juice she could squeeze 2 years. But I agree with you. I think it's sooner rather than later that Jeanie Buss is completely, and 100% away from the organization because, and again, it's a little club. Like, I understand you belong to it for a really long time, Gerald, and she's probably got a lot of friends in there, and that's sort of again the one
And
of the
that's part of
reasons.
the thing, Magic Man. That's
One
part
of
of the
the
thing. So if Jeanie goes as governor, Joe's favorite word, Rambi, the Rambi will leave with it. Rob probably will be a casualty. The scouting team of the Buss brothers will be a casualty, most likely. Everybody that is under Jeannie's good graces.
we're taking everything out but the studs, Gerald. Everything but the studs is coming out of this.
Okay. All right. Again, I would like that to happen because this nepo baby mentality that this team has had for
Gotta
quite some time.
go. Gotta
Gotta go.
go.
It's old.
Gotta
It's
go. It's
passe. It's
old.
gotta
Yeah,
go.
it's gotta go. All of it. All of it. And
I don't care if whoever comes in was or were not Jeannie's I don't know, second cousin from a third brother that was also their driver. I don't care. Or Kobe, how relationship to Kobe or previous Lakers. I want this team to win, and you have to get the best individuals, the most qualified individuals in there.
and by the way, Gerald, when I remember when Jack Kent Cook was selling the Lakers, he gave the Busses a really hard time, didn't he?
Yes, you did.
Now, if that were to happen this time around, I wonder what Walter would do. What would he do, Gerald?
That's good. Your guess is as good as mine, my friend.
No, because I mean, you're a billionaire. What, 150 times over, and you're dealing with mom and pop giving you a hard time. Think maybe you might get a little annoyed, Gerald.
I would seriously. I mean, this
and maybe walk away.
But the whole environment with the Lakers for years, which is partly frustrated, people that actually look at the organization like we do. Part of this frustration is, I think we've missed out on some of the top qualified individuals because they weren't related to the Lakers organization in some way or some fashion. And I'm just hopeful that once this changeover fully takes place and Jeanie is out and all this stuff happens, whether it be sooner or later, that we finally get people or individuals, not necessarily with Laker ties, that can do the job more efficiently at the respective positions than what is being done now, with a bigger budget, with an expanded staff, with a team and an organization capable of winning multiple championships sooner rather than later.
I agree, Gerald. I agree, and Gerald, you can die by 1,000 cuts, or you could just rip the Band-Aid off. I mean, it just seems that in situations like this, it's better just to rip it off, bleed it out, and then start the healing process. That's what needs to happen because from an organizational standpoint, I mean, it was really and Gerald knows this because I've expressed it a few times. It was really frustrating reading those reports in ESPN and the one in the Hollywood Reporter where free agents were just not impressed with the presentation that the Lakers gave them, Gerald, or that like the Podfather was saying, prospective scouts or 5-star, 4-star GMs or assistant GMs or people just wanting to get into the organization were not even looked at because, as Gerald said, they didn't have a speck or sniff of purple gold on them, and they were to be ignored. For whatever reason, that was the philosophy of the Lakers. If you weren't associated with them, you weren't going to be a part of them. And I'm in agreement with the Podfather. I want that shredded as soon as possible so we can start the healing process of hiring the right people for the right job.
Absolutely. Bloodhound says Abu Dhabi Sovereign Wealth Fund is going to expect a return from TWG on their $10 billion investment. Well, let's hope for that return on the investment will happen sooner rather than later. But it will be an interesting thing because I think in 2 years from now we will be seeing a fresh approach to the Lakers. Hopefully, with new individuals in place, the LeBron saga might be over by then.
Only hope.
All the things that we've been complaining about over the course of the years will be hopefully on its way out or already out, and then we'll be able to focus in more on trying to help Luka, as far as they're seeing a team that will be trying to help Luka be at the highest level possible as far as a championship winning team.
Absolutely, Gerald. And I'd like to hone in on a fantastic question Ruben has.
Yes, absolutely, Ruben. Great. Big shout out to Ruben.
Yeah, absolutely. If or when the Lakers decide to part ways with Rob, what would be the ideal time to make the transition, during the season or the off season? That's a great question, Ruben. Normally, what we've seen as far as normal sequences in the NBA, and Gerald will also state this. Usually, it starts just before the All-Star break. If you're thinking about making an overall or a big decision as far as coaching and GM, Gerald, usually it's around the All-Star break that you're
or at the end of the season as a changeover,
because
before the draft.
It becomes fast and furious. Yes, before the draft. Normally teams have their head coach and front offices in place at least a month, 6 weeks before the draft. So there's time for preparation. Now, we've seen the Lakers pull coaching moves, as Ruben has said, pull coaching and GM moves in the middle of a season or just before the season is over. At this point in time, I think that being as in it's a transition, I would expect some scuttlebutt articles, Gerald, around the All-Star break, around February or March, where the Lakers are discussing making wholesale moves in the front office. That's when I would expect kind of those to drip out, like little by little, if we're going to play this game, because I would expect them to have a short list at least by May or June, Gerald, and be ready to go for the draft.
Absolutely. That's what you're looking, because the Lakers will have a first-round draft pick in what is expected to be a pretty good draft, especially at near the top, which the Lakers hopefully will not have a chance at, but hopefully be in a good season that the Lakers will still have a possibility at someone to get someone in the first round. Hopefully later in the first round, hint, hint, top team in the Western Conference. Hopefully will that be the case, but they still will have a first-round draft choice next season to go focus in on a player that could help a team sorely in need of revamping of their bench. Because again, second worst bench in the NBA last season. You only improved it by getting in Jake LaRavia and Marcus Smart. I don't know how much that uplifts the bench, so we'll have to wait and see. These are some of the things that, again, irk me about Rob Pelinka, and the reason why I can't be on board with calling him a top GM is the fact is you understand your weaknesses and you try to fix the magic. And you understand that you have LeBron on his final year. You have Luka down his prime. Yes, you have him locked up for another couple seasons at this point than what you had before. Remember, he can get out in 2028 and sign that huge mega deal, 5 years, $415 to $20 million at whatever the cap will allow at that point in time, which is great money if you can get it. But you have limited time with Luka and limited opportunities with Luka, even in his prime. So I still think, again, that the Lakers should have tried more this offseason to build a better team around Luka. Again, they got low risk, high reward options that won't take away from your cap next season and the season after. But that still doesn't help you now, especially with a new ownership coming in, wanting to see progress made on the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah, I mean, normally, Gerald, if you had a squad, if you had a solid 6, 7 man rotation, and you added a DeAndre Ayton, a Marcus Smart, and a Laravia, I would say, well, now you got maybe 8, 9 solid rotation, but you don't. You only have about 6 now. You added 3 fairly decent players to 4 or 5 that you already had, but you can't play a few of the guys that you have on your roster in the playoffs if you have championship aspirations. Jared Vanderbilt will not help the Lakers win a championship, regardless of Luka's impact on the floor or not. He just is a negative offensive player. Gabe Vincent is too small.
Yeah, absolutely.
Marcus Smart is a streaky shooter. DeAndre Ayton is a streaky rebounder. There are margins of error that the Lakers cannot afford with this team at this point. Not only that, the Lakers need to overachieve. So the margin for error is slim, and you need to overachieve. Gerald, with Luka, I like our chances at the overachieving part. I'm just not sure about the margin of error because I don't think this team is equipped to deal with the deficiencies they have. There's not enough complementary. There's not enough complementary pieces around these margins of error to confidently say that they could do it. They can't right now. It's just objectively true.
Bloodhound says the real money. I could always have you here, Bloodhound. The real money is in owning the stadium and property around it. I doubt AEG would still, as Cristo is one of the busiest arenas in the country, though Anschutz is in his 80s. So again, they don't own it. The Lakers don't own the Crypto.com arena. Hopefully they will come to own it at some point in time. I know they got that long lease that they've signed earlier this decade that still has many years left on it. Or if they decide to buy their way out as far as maybe get their own get their own arena.
Gerald, how much honestly, objectively is the Crypto.com arena worth? How much would you pay for it, Gerald, if you were a billionaire?
It's a 30-year-old, 27-year-old.
It could be considered a mausoleum at this point, Gerald. As far as
it opened in 98 or 99.
I thought it was 99. I could be wrong, but
99.
I thought it was.
No, I think it is 99. Yeah, it's 99. So that's the case. 26 years old. That's these owners, they all want shiny new arenas, and even with the retrofit that has been done already on the Staples Center.
You know what, Gerald? Yeah, the whole world shines shit and calls it gold. You can't do that in the NBA. You actually need the physical asset of a shiny new arena.
Staples Center, bring Staples Center. That's up to Staples. That's not up to the people that own. That's up to Staples. That just tells you about how bad it is for office retail. When Staples can no longer afford to put their name on that center. So that's up to Staples. It's not up to anyone else. It's whoever fits the bill for the naming rights. And right now it's Crypto.com for the foreseeable future. But who knows? Again, the Lakers or Mark Walter could end up being able to buy Crypto.com arena, or he could break the lease and decide he wants to go and venture out on his own. He saw his fellow soon-to-be cohort, as far as in fellow ownership, Steve Ballmer, make his own nice, pretty new arena right there in Inglewood. You never know what can happen. Again, if the Lakers, if Mark Walter could change the dynamic of things to come for the Los Angeles Lakers, but we'll have to wait and see. But again, this could be a good sign of what we saw earlier today with the Boston Celtics being able to change over a lot sooner their governorship. And if that's the case, we could be seeing a changeover a little bit sooner than we thought, or what has been reported on for Jeanie, as far as her being sent on her way as an individual who hopefully will be able to at some time appreciate what she's earned. I mean, God bless her. getting $10 to $12 billion for the Lakers, her and her family members, they deserve it. They are, Dr. Buss did an outstanding job, like Joe has said on and on this show, as far as how great an owner he was for this team and for the NBA. I get it, I understand it, and congratulations to them for striking this deal and finding the number to go ahead and do so. But at some point, we have to go ahead. We have to move on, and I think, and I believe, and I hope that will be taking place sooner rather than later. Magic.
I hope so, Gerald. And you know something? At some point in time, Gerald, the right moment will present itself, and I believe that the Lakers will, as the class organization they are, no matter who owns them, will honor the former Buss ownership at some point. I just don't think perpetually Jeanie Buss should be put in a ceremonial position as a board of governor that has the appearance of Jeanie Buss is still involved in the day-to-day operations, and I don't think that the Walter and the Guggenheims want that particular air or whiff about them, Gerald, especially as it's still a little group. And unfortunately, once you dispel the Busses, Gerald, you also get rid of the hanger-ons too, and a lot of them seem to be still trolls in the LA media. Ramona Shelburne, you kind of turned into a troll, haven't you?
Again, she's still there. She's still reporting, and we'll see if that report that she made earlier this year, when the changeover happened, that she would remain in place as governor for 5 years, is or actually going to come to fruition or not. Bloodhound said it best. The Chase Center generates $700 million in revenue a year. This also includes, of course, non-basketball events.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you have concerts and other special events going on there all the time at Chase Center.
How much does the Crypt bring in? As a comparison.
Yeah, that's a comparison. If you could look that up, Bloodhound, that'd be great, because that will tell you right there why Mark Walter would probably want to either buy or make the effort to go and buy the Crypto.com arena.
But JSJ, it's been renovated, man. It's been renovated. Like, how are you gonna, like Gerald said, they want shiny new. Like, how are you supposed to make crypto new with another renovation, Gerald?
They've already done one, JSJ. I mean, which they can. They can, fit the bill for another. It is right there next to the convention center. It is right there in downtown LA. Joe has talked about it ad nauseum, about the undesirable elements.
Gerald, then why don't we expand this conversation at this point just for a little bit, okay? Because that is your, before Gerald decided to move, that was his town. So Gerald, how would Mark Walter buy everything around the Crypt then? If I can't buy the Crypt, then I'll just buy everything around it until.
But you can't buy. Well, I'll tell you what's around the street. Well, first of all, it's adjacent to the Los Angeles Convention Center, which you can't buy that.
Okay, you can't buy that. That stands off.
Across the street is the Nokia Center and Nokia Theater, and the LA Live, which he could buy, but it's fairly new. It is fairly recent. It's been there now for quite a while now, but it's still modern looking. But he could buy into that. I don't know what he wanted to do with that across the street, but he could buy into that. Across the other side of the street is a lot of parking and empty parking. But it's not parking structures as of now. It's just parking. You go there, you pay a flat fee, and you just park there in the parking lot. And that's a part that could be developed, and we'll see if that happens. But it is not the greatest place to go ahead and expand and build unless you buy out a lot of people there, as far as it's concerned. And I believe the Grammys, the Grammy offices are there too, because you see the Grammys winners. You see them almost like the Hollywood Walk of Fame. You see the Grammy Walk of Fame that's there. That's something that not a lot of people know.
In other words, Gerald, they're going to have trouble finding valuable real estate to put a new arena on. That's what
They
you're
wouldn't. They
saying.
couldn't put it in downtown LA.
That's what
They
you're
wouldn't. They
saying.
couldn't put it in downtown LA.
So that's what you're saying.
Downtown LA would probably be hard to do. And Inglewood is already booked up. You already have tied up with the Forum, which is now back again a live event arena. You've got the Clippers arena that's right there, and then the stadium that's right there. But that's pretty much what covers Inglewood right there. You'd have to maybe move to Carson or other cities in and around it. But downtown LA, there's not
Gerald,
a lot of space to build a new arena.
there isn't. And Gerald, I will say this, just as an outsider, it looks like LA City Council is a bunch of fighting cat people. Like they just scratching claws at one another. It doesn't feel as if LA City Council would help the ownership group at this point. Like they're billionaires. Why would these people help them? Like it just feels like a sum zero effect here as far as the Lakers trying to find a place to build an arena, because I don't think the LA City Council would ever.
And again, there's still many
that.
years.
They would never approve that.
Yeah, and then earlier this decade, they did sign a lease, and they would have to break the lease if they wanted to do it anytime soon, as far as from there. Or, they could buy Crypto.com Arena and try to renovate or completely redo the Crypto.com Arena, which right there location, because the location is in downtown LA. But again, those are just speculations on what Mark would want to do. Because again, you spend $10 to $20 billion on a team, you want to maximize everything. Or, venture capitalists or whoever, Mark Walters is heading the group. Mark Walter is heading the group to go ahead and do this as far as buying the Lakers. You want to maximize, as what Bloodhound said earlier, if Abu Dhabi is investing quite a bit into this, indirectly or directly, however you want to say it, you want to return on your investment, and the fact that you still lease out to someone else where you play your games has to be irritating in and of itself. And that's something that the Lakers have never, with all the stuff that's gone on with the buses, they had the LA Forum and decided to give that up for the Crypto.com Arena. And in doing so, they gave up the rights to certain ownership ties. Now, I know that they probably have a sweet deal as far as the gate, admissions, things of that nature, but it's not it's not like you're owning your own arena. The fact that the Clippers can now go ahead and Steve Ballmer can set the course for whatever he wants to do with that Clippers arena. That power, like the Chase Center, like Bloodhound talks about the Chase Center, that power of having your own building, seeing how you want to go ahead and go forward with it is just it's like a homeowner. Like John Costa just got a new home last week. We just talked about it on the previous show. Just this week, excuse me. Yeah. There's nothing like the power of owning your own home. Renting, leasing, if you're doing that, that's fine. If you want to do that, it's fine. But there's nothing like the power of owning your own home.
Nothing like it, Joe. 100%. Agreed. So these are very pertinent and binding and time-sensitive questions that need to be answered as soon as possible, Gerald, because, I mean, like, when they bought the Dodgers, nobody was saying there needs to be a new baseball stadium, right? I mean, Chavez Ravine is, a state. Now,
they don't own the parking lot.
It's a landmark.
They own the stadium, but they don't own the parking lot.
Yeah, that's weird. That's so freaking weird. I mean,
Joe will talk about that one.
Yeah, God love, the McCord, who wanted to save nickels like their manhole covers for some reason. But he is Gerald. There needs to be an actual Mr. Burns. It turns out Frank McCord is the real actual Mr. Burns. I'll sell you everything except the parking lot. But
the only thing is, I'll say it. Let me finish with this, Magic. You don't spend $10 to $12 billion, for a team, whether it's Mark Walter, the venture capitalist, whoever's behind Mark Walter heading this up, as far as I'm concerned. And you don't bias, and you don't have full control of everything. Even if you come in there, he's going in there. Somebody else is going to be governor. You don't own the arena that you play in. These are things that down the line, I think he would be trying to change. I think he'll be trying to change, and
You don't.
maybe
You
sooner
would
than we.
think, yeah, you would think like I don't. So I'm buying this team from you. I'm paying this much, and you don't even own the arena, and you still want to be on the board of governors. These, like Gerald has just brought up, these are just pertinent questions that somebody buying something for a large sum of money would like answers to eventually, because I'm buying something that I can't move anywhere in the city. I'm stuck here for a foreseeable amount of time,
Unless I
unless
want to break the lease.
unless I want to break the lease and somebody wants to sell me a large plot of land in Los Angeles. And Gerald, as far as I know, you basically need to work about 150 hours a week to afford land in Los Angeles, especially in the 30-mile zone.
Maybe 200 hours in a week.
Yeah, I did the math. I think you got to work like 210 hours a week just to afford the
People ask
mortgage down
me,
there.
why did I move to Las Vegas in the 90s when I did? And it just came down to one thing, cost of living. And at that point in time, the cost of living here in Las Vegas was substantially cheaper than the cost of living in Southern California. I would have, if you would have asked me which I would rather stay at, I told them, I still tell it to my girls and my family today. I would love to be in Southern California over Las Vegas, but cost of living is everything. And I checked out even my old area of Torrance, right there, where I lived many years in that area. I looked at just as a thing. The other did this a couple weeks ago, where I looked on Zillow. I looked around the neighborhood near my old high school, South Torrance High School. How much do they cost? $1 million homes that don't look like $1 million homes. They're just old 40, 50, 60-year-old houses, but they're worth $1 million. Go look at it.
Gerald, do you remember how much your dad bought that house for?
Well, he bought a house originally, I believe, in the $30,000 range, I believe, at the time. Back in another part of Torrance, he moved to condos, and he moved to condos after that for my teenage years, and those were probably around that same price at that point in time, 30, 40, 50 at that point in time. I mean, I moved to my first condo here that I bought. I bought for $30,000. I had $300 mortgage payment here in Las Vegas and when I first got away from renting and I moved into a condo in 1999, that was $30,000 for a condo. $300 for that's nothing. And now look at it. It's that's not the same.
You probably couldn't even afford the down payment for $30,000 for a condo in Las Vegas today.
No, you can't do that right now. And the values have gone sky high, but they're still, compared to Los Angeles, like Bloodhound says, it's all about money. He said it's all about a lot of places on the West Coast, and in Sean's neck of the woods in Toronto, the real estate markets are insane. That they are. But yeah. Absolutely. But great conversation with Magic Man Sean Grice. I truly appreciate him staying up late for us. Mr. Unavailable has been in chat, aka Joe Soro. Yeah. Go check out his Joe Soro experiment on YouTube, so he can angrily talk about the Dodgers at some point in time.
They hopefully this week. They stink.
M24 says you can buy a mansion out here in Austin. Yeah, M24, my son was a doctor in Texas 3 years ago, and we were looking into housing there. A lot of people in my wife's profession, in the medical profession, they moved to Texas because it is there. I know the Houston market, though. The Houston market, I don't know if you could tell me, M24, that market has one of the top 5 lower in value as far as overall this year. I think they were number 5 on the list. Oakland for obvious reasons, was number
See,
one
see,
on
see, but
the value.
here's the big difference. Okay, in Toronto, Seattle, or Vancouver, you don't need a car, Bloodhound. You don't need a car in my city. You can get around just fine without a car. If you got a bus pass, subway pass, you can do just fine in Toronto, Seattle, or Vancouver. Gerald, if you don't have a car, is it hard to get around LA?
Yes,
Yes.
you can't
Yes.
survive without a
Yeah.
car in LA.
Same thing
Really.
in Houston, man. Yeah, like you need a car. Like those,
Yeah.
I totally understand where Blood's coming from. I agree with them. He's right. But certain cities, you don't need a car to get around. In LA, you need a car, bro.
Yeah. Xbox, no need to defend Joe. You know, he likes talking about that stuff so much. I often worry about him in that sense, you know, because he is supposedly a happily married man, and I'll just leave it at that. But once again, it is the Lakers fast break. DivX Ray says Cooper Flag will be a bust. I don't know about that. I think he'll be a good player, maybe even a very good player. I don't know. We'll see. But I don't think a bust, unless it's injuries that will take its toll. But we'll see. I mean, we got the better end of the deal. We got Luka, and Luka is primed. He's ready to go. I don't know, Vari or Xbox. Nobody's told me on Lakers Fast Break at Yahoo.com. Nobody's emailed me if they want to see the Luka games in Slovenia. So you know, if you guys want to see the Slovenia games on the Lakers Fast Break playback channel, Vari or Xbox would have to set it up, but I have to let them know ahead of time. So yeah, just let us know if you're interested. But outside of that, Magic Man, go ahead.
Yeah. Look, Bug Eye, JSJ was right. Your eyes are too close to your nose. That's why you're Bug Eye. You look like a bug. You know what happens to bugs? They get squished. Or
Mr. Unavailable.
they end up on the windshield, buddy. Okay, Bug Eye.
For a guy that's unavailable, sure I've talked a lot in the chat. I'll just say that, Mr. Unavailable. Yeah.
Bug Eye.
Yeah, there you go. Div X-Ray says, all I know is Nico getting fired next season. Ooh, that's a good question. Will they give him a grace period because you know who has been injured? Kyrie Irving has been injured. Will they give him a grace period for that?
Yes.
Okay.
And Blood, I did one better. I went to the stadium because we did a huge drive for Purelator, feeding the less fortunate and the hungry. Purelator does a drive, and SGA was there, and we donated a lot of food to a lot of hungry families, man. So I was proud. SGA stood tall with the rest of Hamilton, and was there for the city. Love you, SGA.
But again,
shout out.
Big shout out to him, yes, but I just don't know. I just don't know if he can be the face of this league, no matter how good his stats are, no matter how good he takes his team, even if they win multiple championships. I just don't know. He's such a mild-mannered kid, a good, really good kid, and I'm really, have a ton of respect for him. But yeah, it's just, I think a lot of the league out there is riding on the hopes that a Wembanyama or a Luka Doncic can carry this league after LeBron, Curry, and Durant leave.
Gerald, I'd like to bring something up that's very important. Although some commentary in the comment section right now from Bug Eye would say something else. If you can, please donate to your local food banks. Please, I know everybody is struggling today, given the circumstance we're all in. But if you can give just a little bit to your local food bank, you'd be generating so much hope and thankfulness and gratitude in other people for giving, because everybody struggles at some point in time. You're going to need somebody out there who's willing to hold out their hand and say, here you go. So please, if you can, give to your local food bank.
Absolutely. Well said indeed. Although Joe would come in there with his, I don't know. spirited thoughts that might say otherwise. But yes, donating to local food bank if you can. But yeah, big shout out to SGA on that. But yeah, he donates to himself. He's such a needy kid. Yes.
Fat.
Yes, absolutely. There's GoFundMe and then there's GoFund Joe. Yes.
Bug-Eye. Joe Bug-Eye Sorrow.
He needs all the help he can get. Absolutely. How many AARP letters have you received? I haven't, but my daughter gets them, and I don't understand why that is. But yeah, we just can't figure that out. So she's just great, and then she throws it in the shredder. But Quibina says JJ trying to have everyone on the team ready to compete for Mr. Olympia, LA Lakers bodybuilders, hiring new strength coaches, everyone posting workout vids. What do I want them to do, Quabina? Do you want them to just sit around, picking
it's like the best shape of your life stories now. If we're in the off season, it's the best shape of your lifetime.
Oh my God. Well, I hope you're not complaining when you say that, Quabina. I hope you're not complaining when you're saying that, because the thing is, what do you want them to do? I understand it, but remember, this is part of social media. This is how it works. This is how you get the clicks, you get the thoughts, you get the stories and things of that nature. So I don't know what you want. Do you want them to be in shape in the off season, to get in shape in the off season? In the case of Luka, I mean, that's what we wanted as fans, is to him to get into shape and to not having more excuses. Him being in better shape hopefully will prevent injuries and hopefully will allow him to be more sustainable for a really good NBA season coming up. I'm really thinking that, if you're out there thinking about him as an MVP, there's a good chance, seeing what I've seen so far, him for Slovenia and in really good shape, that could turn out to be true.
Yeah, everybody, Joe is a dumbass. When you give to a local food bank, when I give them corn, apples, they use the corn and apples. It's not a CEO who takes the corn and apples out back to his car, loads it in his trunk, and drives off with it. You donate food to your food bank, and people use it. Now, since Joe's never been to one or been to a soup kitchen, I would say, you know what, Sorrow? You want to help out the universe and help out yourself? Shut the fuck up and grab a ladle.
You'd probably try to wrap it around your head. I could see you two having a ladle fight. That'd be hilarious. Yes. Supposedly
I would get into a ladle fight with Sorrow. I would.
Yes, absolutely. The soup would be flying. That's true. That's true. But it is, of course, the Lakers fast break. Sean, it's been great to have you on. This Dodgers and Angels. I'm sorry, guys. Angels only know how to win.
Angels is twisting the knife. He's twisting the knife, Gerald.
I mean, the Dodgers they've built their own problems. You could see what was going on. I tried to tell you guys, tried to tell Joe, and you passed me off. You said blah 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 blah. They have one of the worst bullpens in Major League Baseball. Why did you not fix it at the trade deadline? Yeah. I saw these other teams getting multiple closers, multiple relievers, and then Dodgers, for the most part, stood pat. There you go. Hopefully it'll work out. Everybody get healthy, and the Dodgers can finally find their way. But they're actually a lot really behind the Milwaukee Brewers at this point. So,
Gerald, when's the last time the Angels swept the Dodgers in a season series?
I can't even remember. And then, like Alan said, Ohtani's in a scandal with the Hawaii thing. Yeah.
The Hawaii thing? What? Oh, yeah. There's another scandal with him? Oh,
yes,
shit.
There's another scandal with Ohtani, and I believe his agent in regards to them stopping some sort of, or supposedly, according to the lawsuit that's out there, in regards to a Hawaii development program.
Oh, God.
Or housing development, excuse me, or some type.
Him
preventing it or stopping it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that's not good.
And of course, Joe, in his ever-loving way, says Hawaii is always crying about land they sell and know only how to freeload. Wow. Okay. All right. That's Joe. All right. Personally, I love Hawaii. I've been to Hawaii a few times. I enjoy the islands and have a great respect for the individuals that live there. Yeah,
and the
including
culture,
Michael Heinrich,
yes.
who's on Lakerholics, Lakerholics.com. But we'll see.
That's right.
Alan says, Otani's trying to be like Brady. Okay. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I know you said it, Joe. And I'm sure you would say it again. Do you have anything nice to say? Anything about anybody or any city that you've been in?
No, he's miserable. The Dodgers lost. He probably got a bag of hot Cheetos that he ate, and he's choking on his own rage right now.
Well, that he does indeed. He does it almost every day. But we love you.
He chokes on his own rage.
Yeah, absolutely. This, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. Xbox, always great to have you in there. Sports Baby, always great to have you in there as well. Big shout out to Johnny, Alan, everybody that was part of it. Of course, Drip, appreciate the super chats as always. Thank you so much again for joining us. DivX Ray says, at the end of the day, Luka trade will go down in history as worst trade ever made. When Lakers win 3 straight championships starting next year, you heard it here first. I hope that's the case, Div. But again, I still think the roster... A lot has to go right. I'll say this again. A lot has to go right for the Lakers to win the championship next year. A lot, Div. And you and I both know that. A lot would have to happen.
A lot.
So,
and it would have to be like the Wayne's World. Yeah. We'd have to do that.
Somebody gets an injury here. Some key player gets an injury there. Luka not only plays an MVP-like level, but LeBron is able to turn back the clock even more. The starting lineup is really solid, and the bench plays. The bench is like, I'm not even asking the bench to be one of the best in the NBA. If they are
average,
then that average would be great. Would be absolutely great.
Please be average. Please.
I can't say on the air what Alan just said, but Alan just got Joe good.
Oh, bravo, Alan, bravo.
That was good. Yes.
Oh, that was good.
That was good.
That was good, Alan. That was good.
That was good. I wish I could say it, but again, it's NSFW, and I'll say that. But it is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break.
He got you good, Bug Guy.
Big shout out again to Mark, aka Xbox, Vari, aka Sports Baby, as for our great moderators as always. Cannot thank enough these guys for doing what they do in the chat. Drip Show dropped another sports super chat. Truly appreciate.
Are they extra vinegary, Sorrel, as Cartman would say? Are they extra vinegary?
There you go, indeed. Absolutely, just great to have you here. Drip Show says, Luka, you know what? Even with an MVP season, Drip, he has to elevate this team so high, and get all this team on his back in order for the Lakers to get where we all want them to go this season. I think he can have a MVP-like season if he stays healthy, 70 games. If he does 31-99 again, 31-9-9 again, yeah, he could be in the thick of it for MVP. But he has to get the Lakers to a top 4 seed in the Western Conference, and that's going to be hard to do. Anthony says, what WTF is the governor of an NBA team? Basically, because the word ownership or owner is not exactly politically correct in the NBA vernacular, they changed it owner to governor. And in the case of governor, it's the controller of the day-to-day operations per se, if that's the case. So one of the few occasions where the governor is not the owner will be supposedly when Mark Walter takes over as owner and it gets evaluation. Jeanie will remain on as governor, who will, in essence or in theory, oversee day-to-day operations of the Los Angeles Lakers. But again, Joe has said in the past that that's not going to be the case. We will see. We will see. And if the changeover does not happen now, if it happens in 5 years, as what was originally reported, that's, I'm not sure, the best thing for the Lakers, but we will see who wields the power once Mark Walter officially comes in as owner, or him and the group responsible for ownership of the Los Angeles Lakers. So we will see. Sports Baby says for the Euroball, join on YouTube for, yes, absolutely. Join on YouTube, become a member today for only $2.99 a month. Become part of the family for all your Lakers news and information right here at the Lakers Fast Break. If you want to become a member, absolutely. I cannot thank you enough for doing so. Appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. What's average in points per game for the bench, Sean? What's average?
So at year to year, let's say 33.
I'm gonna look that up.
Let's say 33. Around 32 to 35 points is average in the NBA for bench scoring. We were at
Lakers were
25 last year.
Yeah,
which is really bad. We need at least a plus 8, plus 10 in bench points. Indiana was number 1. I think they almost had 50 points from their bench. So they were some ridiculous year, like 46, 48 points per game.
Yeah, looking at now.
I'm not expecting that, but anywhere from 30 to 35 would be a big improvement for this team.
According to Stat News, in the 2024-25 season, the Spurs scored 44 points a game. Warriors had 43.5. Hawks also had 43.5. Jazz had 41 points off their bench a game. Pistons 40, Pacers 40, Cavaliers 40, Wizards 40, Nets had 39. And then you go back down to the Lakers, who were 24th in the league with 26 points a game.
Terrible. Yeah, yes. That's not good to get it done.
And then after that, there's a big drop off to the Knicks. Yeah, and there you go. Again, they do need a boost from the bench, to even if it's to help the Lakers, even if it's to give less minutes. Because Joe, I will use him again. He did say in one of our earlier conversations about trying to reduce the number of minutes for LeBron in his final, what could be his final season as a player, or with the Lakers. That's a key. And also, if we can scrub off any minutes for Luka and still maintain leads, that would be really helpful as well. But we will wait and see. But Sean's been a great episode. Any last insight before we
Yes. Gerald, in order for the two to kind of blend, as you were saying, the starters have to. I'm not saying you could. I'm like, okay, so OKC had a plus 12, almost a plus 13 differential this year, Gerald, which is absolutely flat out ridiculous. If the Lakers starting 5 can be anywhere from a plus 5 to a plus 10, I think it would go considerably well for the bench, for their confidence to become an average bench. But however, I think if we go into quarters again, down 4, down 6, it will not complement the bench psychology. I think we'll revert back to what we saw last year. I'm hoping that's not the case, but it would go a long way if starters could get into, having a 6 to 8 point lead and bringing the bench in rather than the bench having a 4 to 6 point deficit.
Yeah. We'll see how it works out. But again, I think the key to the key to any season is how, a lot of it has to do with how productive your bench is. Now, in the case of maybe New York with Tom Thibodeau playing his guys like 40 minutes a game, that's obviously is different for the norm. But a team like Indiana, like you said, which was so reliant on its reserves coming in and providing such a boost and outplaying the other team's bench on a nightly basis, it makes it easier for your team to go ahead and win games, in my opinion, to have enough bench to be able to allow an extra breather for LeBron and now an extra breather for Luka to hopefully be able to, maybe play more games ultimately because.
Absolutely, Gerald, and you know as well as I do, they are counted on significantly in either the front end or the back end of a back to back. If your bench is productive on at least one of those nights, chances are pretty good that you might win both of those games. But if your bench is inept and completely out of the same universe as your starters, then we'll see a lot of what we saw last year, Gerald. You win in Indiana, but you blow that game in Chicago the next night. Or you win in OKC, but you blow that game in San Antonio the next night. Can't have those this year, especially with a Western Conference that is teetering. Like literally, Gerald, we talk about the Western Conference cannibalizing itself. It almost feels like the Walking Dead music when the NBA season starts with Houston, OKC, Denver, Minnesota, all there. They're not going away. It's the same four teams last year. It's the same four teams this year. And as Gerald said, Golden State had a really good bench last year. What happens if they have that bench plus their starters end up really good again? So now Golden State's in the mix. There is a lot riding on this bench. I'm not trying to put any more pressure on them than they already have. This is the NBA, but from a professional standpoint, they need to show up this year.
And we count Allen realistically as from what we saw with Dalton, both in summer league and just at the end of the season. We cannot count on Dalton at this point in time. If he gives us anything and finds himself and finds the stroke and finds the scoring ability and is be able to be out there and even plays passable defense, that would be outstanding. That would be great. That's a bonus that we didn't see coming because how terrible he played this summer. So I'm not counting anything yet out of Dalton. I'm hoping there will be a come to Jesus moment per se for Dalton Connect. I'm hoping somebody will take him aside and just slap him, around, maybe trying to just wake him up and get him going. Whether proverbially, of course, not actual physically, because you can't do that, but just somebody just wake him up to try and get him going, and hopefully he can resurrect himself sooner rather than later, and hopefully won't have to go to another team first before doing it. With the case of Smart, you say Smart can score like DFS 10 points a game. Yeah, you're right. He could, but he only played 54 games the past 2 seasons. So you have to first. I know people have talked about him as a starter, et cetera, or Laravia as a starter, et cetera, et cetera. Laravia has had one good year. One. Remember, his rookie contract was taken, that last year was taken off the books by Memphis because his career was not going in the right direction until he had a good year last year. He's had one good year. I'm hoping he'll continue it and carry it on. His momentum will go forward and as a young player be able to grow with the Lakers. I'm looking forward to that to see if that will happen. But again, it's just one good year so far for him. And in case of Smart, you're taking a risk on a guy that's played 54 games in 2 years. See first if he's healthy. Have him come off the bench and help you there. Limit his number of minutes to 20 to 25 minutes to see if he can actually be that guy once again before you count on him and put him in the starting lineup. Again, I would, I know that they've done breakdowns on other shows in regards to minutes and starting lineup, whatnot. I would not deviate from the starting lineup during the regular season as of yet, because the thing is, you have to see if Marcus Smart can be healthy enough to play in games, Magic. We'll see if that's the case. He's incentivized to do so, but we'll see if that's the case. Because if it's not, then that's another problem the Lakers have to deal with.
It is, Gerald, because at this point in time, Austin Reeves plays. He plays well. He plays a durable game. Even when people do try and hack at his ankles or hack at him, Austin has shown a predilection to fighting through the pain. And as Gerald noted, 54 games played in the past 2 seasons. Marcus Smart doesn't have a predilection of playing through pain. He has a predilection of not playing at all when he's in pain.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Again, Allen thinks he'll play or he won't be an asset anymore. Well, right now, the way he's played, he's not very much of an asset right now to the Lakers. He has to start proving himself in games.
Well, the problem is that the Lakers gave up Goodwin as well in order to secure Marcus Smart. So if you have a problem with Marcus Smart, there goes your biannual exception, Alan. It's gone, and you can't use it next year. That's one tool out of the box that you can't use. So Pelinka put a lot of onus on Marcus Smart, Gerald. He legitimately has put a lot of pressure on Marcus Smart.
Because your sixth man off the bench, let's say it's Marcus Smart. Your seventh man is Laravia. Your eighth man is Gabe Vincent or Jackson Hayes. Your ninth man is Vando or Jackson Hayes or Gabe Vincent. Any one of those guys, your 8, 9, and 10. Your 11th and 12th guys, and I said 10th or 11th, but maybe your 11th or 12th guys will alternate between Bronny and or Dalton, depending on the situation. Do you need more shooting, which hopefully Dalton can provide, or do you need maybe a on-point defender, which Bronny is? So right now, those guys are like in the 11th or 12th spot in the rotation. So we will see what happens. Yeah, absolutely. But again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. Truly appreciate Magic Man for joining us. Joe Sorrell, please go check out his Experiment, the Joe Sorrell Experiment channel, and also as well the Playback channel, where they can go and check out the Dodgers, who didn't fare so well this evening. But hopefully they will turn around sometime soon. It's getting to be mid-August here. So yeah, just saying. M24 says, I drove 10 hours in an Amazon delivery van with no air conditioning. He hates the humidity. It's bad. I can tell it's bad. I've been to other parts of the country where it has been bad like that. Texas, Florida. I hear you on that. But 113 and 114 like it was today in dry heat, that's not a walk in the woods either. So Alan says, it depends on parts of California. Does have some humidity from time to time, especially up north where it gets there's a lot of humidity. In fact, I dealt with it when I was in the San Francisco area a little bit, but much better than what I came back to here in Vegas. I'll say that. But once again, it is the Magic Man Show, guys. Sean, any last thoughts again before we end on that?
This was a nice conversation, Gerald. It really was.
Very relaxing. Stress-free.
Very relaxing, yes. No bozo, hobo, bug guy, Joe Sorrow around to in any way conflict with this nice conversation we had. And just goes to show you the Dodgers stink, but LFB will always be here.
Absolutely, indeed. Looking forward to more conversations. Got to get Legend on for a show. I know that we were trying to work out something with Albert on over-unders for the Eastern Conference, but that has to be on the back burner. So I'll get Legend here talking some NBA here soon. Magic Man talking more NBA. The schedule comes out later this week. The full schedule, I believe.
Joe's a bum. He's not welcome on the show right now.
Yeah, he's always welcome. He'll barge his way through. He knows all the passwords to Talk Studio for. I can't prevent him from doing so. So
no, he's still a bum.
I like it or not.
He's still a bum.
He's Mr. Unavailable to you, Magic Man, and to me as well.
Unavailable bum.
Yes, but it is of course the Lakers Fast Break. JSJ, he's unavailable. For a guy who's unavailable, he's been commenting throughout the show. It is of course Magic Man Sean Grice.
Alan, he just got one more shot. Just one more. He got you good, Sorrow. You bug-eyed bum.
Alan got you good. Sorry, Joe. We'll just leave it at that. Thanks again for watching this, everyone. We'll be back with more. In fact, we'll come back on Thursday with a breakdown of whatever schedule they release on Thursday to go ahead and talk about that, if that's the case. And then we'll go ahead and break down the highs and lows of the upcoming schedule then. And then for the weekend, Mark, you and I are having a conversation. We're going to go ahead and have a conversation with the Lakers because you said you would be available on the weekend. So truly appreciate it. Vari, you got to come on the show to talk your Pacers. what are your Pacers going to do this year in the Eastern Conference with Halliburton out and Miles Turner gone? You got to go ahead and come on the show to talk Pacers. When we do our team-by-team breakdown here in the coming weeks, like Sean and I did, because we're going to bring that back. We're going to bring that back, and we're going to go by division, in each division throughout the NBA. We're going to make you the guy talking Bari. Although that guy who was with us talking Indiana, he was actually pretty spirited. I like to have him on the show, so maybe I'll get him in on that as well. But again, Ruben, like you said, this one's in the refrigerator. The door is closed, the lights are out, the eggs are cooling, the butter's getting hard, and the Jello is jiggling. I miss Chick. Again, don't ever ask him, or didn't ever ask him at the time to say a foreign player's name, but there was no one better to calling the action on the floor than Chick Hearn. I just absolutely, listening to him on the radio for years, you could just picture like you were there at the LA Forum on the hardwood there.
100% Gerald. And by the way, Chick Hearn is the only sports announcer to ever get lines on The Simpsons, Gerald. Not Marv Albert, not Joe Buck, not even the great Vince Scully, Gerald. They had to couldn't get Vince Scully, but they got Chick.
I'll tell you what, though, it was great when I got a chance to go to, each time I get to go to the crypto.com arena and see the statue of him, that they have him at the desk right there. That is one of the best statues. It's sad because that's one of the most overlooked statues when you go there. Everybody seems to migrate towards the player statues, Kobe, Shaq, what have you, and they always forget about Chick on the side there. And never forget Chick. Never forget what he did for this organization. Indeed. But it's, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. I'll let Sports Baby and Xbox have that continued conversation on the What's Up chat. The Oxbear said, you know what, Oxbear? I fall asleep when you're talking on the show, almost every show. Either that or I'm getting thoroughly annoyed. But we love having you on, nonetheless, my friend. So.
You're like an Allman Brothers song. You just keep going over and over and over and over and over and over and over. You won't shut up. Shut up. Absolutely. Shut up.
Shut up. Shut up, Joe. Absolutely. It always feels good when I say that out loud. Shut up, Joe. Shut up, Joe. Shut up, Joe. Indeed. All right, it's Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching this. Is fake laughing hard? You were fake laughing hard, John? I guess so. That's
Bug Eye can say whatever he wants. Bug Eye.
Yeah, absolutely. Proof's right there in the corner of the screen on YouTube. It is, of course,
he does have bug eyes. Now that JSJ pointed out, he does have bug eyes.
Nerlens Noel. Thank Nerlens Noel for that, indeed. But it is, of course, B. Gerald. Along with Sean, we'll be back later this week talking more great stuff in basketball. Also, cutting down Joe Soro at the same time as only we can. But we love you, Joe, nonetheless. And always glad to have you here, right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Shut up, Joe.